Have you ever felt like you do everything right, but your body just takes absolutely forever to show results? I mean, maybe you're working out 2 to 4 times a week, you're eating healthy, you're doing all the right things, it seems, but the scale just moves slower than expected, or sometimes not even at all. Or maybe you lose a few pounds and you gain it all right back. You don't struggle to lose it, but you just can't keep it off. What if your slow results, though, aren't actually about your workouts or your diet? I know that that seems like blasphemy in the fitness world to even suggest, right? But the thing is, most people actually miss this crucial thing here. There's a third piece that has absolutely more impact on fat loss than your workouts. And it can lead to seeing even more fat loss without lowering your calories more, too. Today, I'm going to break down one of the components of metabolism that far too many people completely forget about or don't even know about. And I'm going to share why it matters more than increasing your workout frequency, your intensity, or even your cardio. And hopefully, I'm going to do all right actually speaking English here in a second as well. So, without further ado, guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so that you get more content just like this here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. What is this third mystery component that I'm talking about here that is not related to nutrition and not related to your workouts, that somehow mysteriously and magically affects your fat loss to get better results? Well, what I'm talking about is something called NEAT. And I don't mean like neat as in I'm describing something like an adjective. This is an acronym that stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, I want to clear something up really quickly because NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is getting really popular across the internet right now. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are not necessarily doing it any favors by describing what it is or teaching about it. That's what I want to make sure that I do today. So, what I want to do is make sure that you know that non exercise activity thermogenesis is similar to another thing called non exercise physical activity, or NEPA, NEPA. On this channel, you'll hear me talk about NEAT and NEPA pretty much interchangeably, but I do want you to know there is a difference. Non exercise activity thermogenesis is all of the non exercise movements that we do, like fidgeting, blinking, anything that is unconscious, okay? That is NEAT, non exercise activity thermogenesis. Where the other one is conscious movements, such as walking, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, being busier without exercising. That is NEPA, NEPA. But again, for the sake of simplicity, you're going to hear me keep those combined on this channel. I mainly want to say this just in case there's a few fitness coaches creeping around going, that's not true. It's NEPA, not NEAT. And just to make sure that there's not somebody that's like, but wait a second, I heard that it was called this. Is that wrong? I want to make sure that there's no confusion there. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, what is NEAT or NEPA? Well, it's all the movement that you do outside of the gym. Now, again, technically NEAT is going to be unconscious movements, where NEPA is going to be conscious movements. We're going to call them all the same. It's NEAT, okay? All the movement that you do outside of the gym, walking, fidgeting, standing, moving around throughout the day, playing with the kids, okay? So NEAT is incredibly important along with NEPA, but here is the real knee slapper about NEAT or NEPA, okay? NEAT actually burns about 15% of your total daily energy expenditure. That's 15% of how many calories you burn in a day comes from non-exercise activity. Whether we call it NEPA or NEAT makes no difference, but 15% of your total day comes from non-exercise activity. How much does exercise burn? How much does it use? Only 5%. Now, I'm absolutely not trying to dismiss exercise. Guys, you know, if you follow this channel at any point in time, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you know that I'm all about using exercise to put on muscle to improve the metabolism. But here's where I want to make sure I differentiate. If you're already working out 2 to 4 times a week and you're not seeing the fat loss that you want to, I'm not saying that your workouts aren't playing a role, but 9 times out of 10, maybe even we could say 95 out of 100 times, it is the fact that people don't have enough calorie deficit. So we don't need more intensity in the gym. We don't need more frequency. We actually need to improve the other areas. Okay. So here's the deal, most people have this backwards. You work out 3 times a week for an hour each time, but the other 23 hours you're sitting or standing still. Look at me right now. I'm doing this video. Yes, I'm an online fitness coach, but I'm sitting. When I was doing personal training, full time, one to one, group personal training, all the things, I was always demonstrating. I was moving. I was constantly, I would say, I was rarely sedentary. But then flip it back in 2017 when I went full time, only online coaching, man, I'm sitting in the chair all the time. Or I get the standing desk here and I stand, but then my hips, my feet hurt because being sedentary, whether you're standing or you're sitting, being still too much is going to absolutely affect how many calories in a day that you burn. Okay. So at your desk, in the car, on the couch, it's basically just sitting or standing still. Your body isn't burning nearly as much as you think. Now, maybe you've got one of these Apple Watches or an Oura Ring or one of, Fitbit, and you're going, no, trust me, Lance, I'm burning. This thing says I'm burning like 1,800 calories a day and I'm only taking in 1,600. I promise you that's not accurate, okay? I don't want to rain on your parade. It's awesome that you're tracking your steps. It's awesome that you're tracking your workouts, but don't put a whole lot of emphasis in how many calories it claims you're burning. That is going to be a disaster. And I've heard so many people go, no, Lance, I know I'm in a calorie deficit. I know I'm tracking my food. I'm taking in 1,800 calories and I'm burning 2,200. Well, the unfortunate part about it is chances are you're taking in more than what your MyFitnessPal says you are, and you're also burning less than your Apple Watch says you are. And it sucks, but it's the truth. So what we'll do on this channel is help you to make sure that you are in a safe deficit, even if you have one of these, let's say, I just devices that have some room for just have some error. Okay. So with that said, we want to make sure that we're improving on the areas that actually make the difference. Okay. So why does this matter? Well, you have 2 options to create a calorie deficit. Number one, you cut more calories. Okay. Now, again, never mind the little sidetrack that I took us on with the Apple Watch and all that. What I'm saying is just because you think that you're in a calorie deficit because of devices does not mean that you are. That's my big takeaway here. Takeaway number 2 is that you can, if you are not losing body fat or you're not losing enough weight, there's 2 ways to alter this. You can cut more calories, but chances are you're likely already hungry, maybe a little bit tired, or you're just like, I don't want to cut more food out. Okay. Option 2 is you move more. You can walk more, burn more. It means no hunger. It means no recovery needed. And I'll explain that. Steps are the easiest win that you are ignoring. You can aim for 5,000 minimum steps a day. 10,000 for my clients is really where we see the magic happen. But walking doesn't spike your hunger like exercise does. It doesn't require recovery like exercise does. It doesn't tax your nervous system like another workout would, okay? So the issue is that a lot of people think that if they're not losing, they got to do more cardio, they got to work out harder, they got to do more frequency in the gym. But unfortunately, what happens is this is taxing the nervous system. This is increasing your hunger hormones. This is also likely altering your hormones like ghrelin and leptin. So you feel hungry and you crave sugary, high carb foods, and you don't feel full and satiated when you've had them. That sucks. So if we increase your walking, again, it doesn't matter how you get it. And I'll go through several different ways to do this. Instead of increasing your exercise, now we're increasing your calorie burn, putting you closer into a deficit or into a deficit fully. And yet we've not increased your hunger. We've not taxed your nervous system. We haven't required you to take extra recovery and all of this stuff. And on top of that, getting more steps in typically leads to better deep sleep or REM sleep, or sometimes both, especially when you're getting those steps outside in the sun. Okay. So the reality is that most people are looking at one of two things, either nutrition only or workouts only. And here we have this third option that most people overlook. I've had some people that work out 4 to 5 times a week and they're eating like almost perfectly and they're just not losing. And yes, of course, we could reduce their calories. But what I normally do is start showing them, hey, Jonathan, you're doing really good, man, but you're only taking in, or you're only doing about 2,700 steps a day. Let's go ahead and start with just increasing slowly up to 5,000. And next thing we know, Jonathan is losing body fat and his workouts are going better and he doesn't feel starving. And he's like, what? This is crazy. And it doesn't take any energy. And I've had clients who do what I do, which is put on these AirPods, go for a walk and call a friend, call your mom, call your sibling, or listen to an audiobook like I do. It doesn't matter. Do something like Tony Robbins calls it net time, which is no extra time. And that just simply means like, okay, well, I need to listen to audiobooks. I want to call my friend and I don't often enough. I need to learn some things. So how can I get my steps in and do those things? I put them together. So now you're walking and you're talking, but you're not working out because you're keeping it very low intensity. So this means that you can talk for an hour if you wanted to. But just going on a 30 to 45-minute walk is going to improve or increase your steps significantly. And next thing you know, you're back into the fat loss results game again. It's awesome. Okay. So energy balance is actually what matters most here, not the workout program, not your meal timing, not your supplements, not how many carbs you're taking or how many you're not taking in, not if you're carb cycling, not if you're fasting cardio. None of those things really matter. It's energy balance. What is energy balance? It's calorie balance. What does that mean? Calorie balance, if they're equal, if I consume the same amount of calories that I burn, my weight stays the same. If I burn more calories than I consume, I lose body fat or weight. If I consume more calories than I burn, I gain body fat, gain weight. What does this mean for you? It means that if you track your food and steps today, and at the end of those 7 days, however many steps and calories you've averaged per day, if at the end of 7 days you did not lose weight, I know it's not easy to hear, you're not in a calorie deficit. Well, yeah, but Lance, no, because I'm eating clean and I'm working out. You're not in a calorie deficit. If you are, you lose weight, you lose body fat. If you don't, you're not in a deficit. Yeah, but you don't get it, Lance. I'm eating less than I did before. And at first I was losing. Aha, that tells me that at the beginning you were losing because you were in a deficit. And maybe you don't realize the longer you are in a calorie deficit, especially if it's way too deep, your body adapts in what's called adaptive thermogenesis. And next thing you know, what was a calorie deficit is now your new maintenance calories. That means that if you keep eating the same calories and keep doing the same amount of activity, you're not going to lose. You can lower your calories, or you can do what I'm suggesting and increase your steps. Okay. Now let's talk about the practical. How do we do this? So, very first thing that I want to know is what's your average daily step count? Do you know this already? Drop that in the comments below. If you don't know this already, this already tells me that you are leaving fat loss on the table. You don't know how many steps you're taking in. Do you need to track this forever? No, but it is going to help you to get back into the, let's say, the results phase again. Okay. So, how to actually increase your steps? I'm going to go through some practical ways to do this. These are all things that I teach my clients on my Joyfully Fit 365 system. It works well. Use these techniques, okay? If you're already at 5,000 steps and you know that 10,000 or getting more than 5,000 would help you, here's how to get there without overwhelming yourself and without burning yourself out. Number one, just start by increasing your steps by 500 steps a day every few weeks. So if you're at 4,500, you know you want to be at 5,000. Very first thing you're going to do is aim for another 500 steps a day for 2 to 3 weeks. Once you have gotten that done for 2 to 3 weeks fully, and you've not missed a single day, now bump it up another 250 to 500 steps a day. Every time you do this, this is essentially the same as reducing your calories to put you back in a greater calorie deficit. But the cool thing is, this is also going to help out your psyche. It's going to help out your nervous system. It's going to help out your fat loss. It's going to help also protect muscle because you're not doing more in the gym that requires using using your muscle as energy or fuel because you don't have the calories to supply it. That takes me to another point that I won't get into on this, that you require high protein when you are in a calorie deficit to protect and preserve the muscle that you put on so you don't slow your metabolism even more. But I digress on that one, okay? So we want to increase your steps by 500 a day every couple of weeks. When that feels consistent, bump it up another 500. Keep doing this every 2 to 4 weeks until you reach, I would say, 10,000 steps a day. This is where you're going to end up seeing the most fat loss. Now, it's nothing special about 10,000 steps a day. It's just that when we're doing that, we feel like we're going to get more calories than we're used to. We're going to see good results, and you are physically active at that point very consistently. It's just a good, healthy, safe place to be. Okay, so you'll keep on improving and getting better fat loss results without reducing calories, without burning yourself out, without losing muscle. It's so much better doing it this way. Now, I teach my clients to do low, mid, and high goal targets instead of just one aim, kind of like bowling bumpers, all right? It's not going to guarantee a strike, but it does prevent a gutter ball, which is funny because my notes autocorrect put butterball. So yes, it's going to prevent a butterball and a gutter ball. But the thing is that what we're talking about here is what we call the good, great, and awesome goal system. 5,000 steps is your good goal. 7,500 steps is your great goal. 10,000 is your awesome goal. What this means is that on a bad day, the worst you should get is 5,000 steps. It's your minimum. It's your good goal, okay? But what this does is it prevents you also from being like, well, I'm just going to go for 15,000 steps today. No, that's well above your awesome goal. If you've not built up to prove to yourself that you can handle your good and your great goal consistently or your awesome, you don't need to bump up your steps higher than your awesome because you've not been consistent in your good, great, or awesome goals. In Joyfully Fit 365, everything we do is the crawl, walk, run method or the stair step method. You don't go from good to awesome. You don't go from 5,000 to 15,000 steps until you've proven that you can keep up with 5,500, 6,000, 6,500. When you do this every couple weeks, you are training yourself to make this become a habit, okay? Now, again, I won't get into all the neuroscience on what happens with habit, but I promise you, habit formation is the best way to get fit and stay fit, but you can only build habits that are sustainable. Otherwise, they won't stay, okay? So 5,000 is your good goal. 7,500 is your great goal. 10,000 is your awesome. Bump up 500 steps per day every 2 to 3 weeks as you've proven that you've handled that low goal, all right? Here's some practical ways to add steps throughout your days. Take calls while walking. I do this regularly. It's one of my favorite ways. I feel like I'm sharper when I'm walking and talking. And even if you don't do AirPods, these are not great for you guys. You can do wired, and that's just fine, okay? Park farther away. I hear that one a lot, but it's got to be mentioned. Walk after meals. Now, this is one that I don't hear a lot, but this one's huge. You walking for 15 minutes after your meals helps with blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, but it also helps you to improve and get more steps. This is another one I like to do too. Get up every hour and walk for 5 minutes. This helps if you're like me and you have hip issues, knee issues, back problems. You need to know that motion is lotion for your body, okay? If you have aches and pains, you don't need more rest. You need more movement and mobility, okay? So get up every hour and make sure that you know that, again, motion is lotion for the body. Walk during TV commercial breaks. Now, most of us don't have TV commercials, but maybe if you're watching YouTube or maybe you didn't bump Netflix or Amazon Prime up to the commercial free, take advantage of that. There's usually anywhere from 90 seconds to 3 minutes of commercials. Get up and just walk for a few minutes, okay? Another one that is, or another one too, between episodes. If you are watching Netflix and chill, meaning Netflix and binge, where you're just binge watching for 4 or 5 episodes, stop yourself once an hour, once every 45 minutes, whatever it is. When that episode ends, get up and do maybe 500 steps. Okay. It's so simple to do. It'll take you like 5 minutes, not even that. And if you want to get those steps in quicker, just do a little jog. It makes no difference. Guys, I've walked around my house and I practically burn holes, in the floor where I've walked and paced. It works. It's so effective. Okay, here's another one. Get a walking pad for at home or for bad weather days. I've had so many clients go, "Oh, Lance, I missed my steps yesterday, but it was raining outside." And I'm like, okay, I realize you don't want a treadmill in your house, but a walking pad is literally like anywhere from $80 to $200 at the maximum. They can fold, they slide under your desk, they slide under your bed, they can go in a closet. Like, get one of those things from Amazon. They're so easy to set up, they're so easy to get your wins. My client, I'll leave names out of this, but I've got a client that as she started increasing her steps doing the walking pad, she was like, man, my hips started feeling better. And I noticed that I was getting my steps by like 6 or 7 p.m. instead of trying to get my steps done by 10 or 11 p.m. at the end of the day. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go pretty quickly through these last ones. Dance around the house. I know that sounds silly, guys, but you can, Lauren and I, we turn on YouTube at times and we'll just dance to old music and stuff. We love, some of the, she's more of a pop princess. I love more of the, I would say more of the rock type stuff from the 80s and 70s and whatnot, 90s. But you can turn on stuff and dance around the house. You can enjoy yourself and get good movement. Plus, it's really good for your hips. Set 4 alarms at 25% increments on your phone. Okay. I'm going to show you this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'm going to, oh, that's not it. I want to show you how I have this set up. I want to make sure you can see them all. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I can see this here, guys. It may be backwards, but what you'll notice here is even if it's backwards, you're seeing 4 different alarms there. Okay. Alarm 1, 10 a.m. is 2,500 steps. Alarm 2 is 2 p.m., 5,000 steps. Alarm 3, oh, that one is charge earphones. That's not the right one. Let me move that one. Alarm 3 is 5 p.m., 7,500 steps. Alarm 4 is 8 p.m., 10,000 steps. This is my goal. When all of these are set, let me set them for you and show you. When all of these are set here, it looks just like this. They're going to go off, and when I see if it's 10 a.m., and I've not gotten my 2,500 steps in, I've been up and I'm going, ooh, stop what I'm doing. My health comes first. I'm going to go walk and get up to 2,500 steps so I'm not behind. Okay. 2 p.m. goes off. I got to make sure I'm at 5,000 steps and so on and so forth. Does this seem tedious? Not really. It may be something that in the beginning you're like, oh, alarms, I don't want to do that. I get it. But I promise you, if you really do want to get the fat off like you say you do, and if you really want to get in shape in a way that keeps you in shape, try this. I promise you, it works so dang well. Okay. Okay. So play with the kids, even if they're grown. Doing things like that is going to be family time. Plus, you're also going to be able to get good steps in, improve your metabolism, your hormones, etc. Here's another one, guys. Walk and pray. Most of you guys, I would say most of you guys are people who pray every day. Even if you're not somebody who prays every day, start there. But one of my favorite things that I picked up a good 5-6 years ago from Pastor Alan Nolan is to walk and pray. I realized that a lot of times I'll have this nervous energy where I know I need to pray, but I found through listening to this other psychologist who is not a believer, he talked about the nervous energy that it would build up, that he would need to go and just be active, to walk, to run. I have no desire to run, but I realized, like, wait a second, I know what he's talking about. I know that feeling. And then when I heard Pastor Allen talk about, what he calls, praying through, or, he would go and just pace and pray, I started calling this my walk and pray time. And all this is where I go into my basement or on the main floor, I turn on praise and worship, and I walk the floor just back and forth, and I just pray and keep praying and praying. Usually I'll do this for anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. Okay. Sometimes 20, sometimes 25, but this works, guys. And if you're on this channel, you already know that this is going to be faith infused. So this is an amazing way to get more steps, to be intimate with our creator, to get to know our creator better. and to build that up, but also to make your body, your mind, your spirit healthier. Okay. Um, so again, action with prayer for me helps a ton, especially when you have that nervous or anxious energy. Another one, guys, morning walk before work, evening walks after dinner. Here's the thing about exercise. It is amazing for building muscle. You heard me talk about that before. Muscle is great for your long-term metabolism, but exercise requires recovery. It can increase your hunger response. And if you're already working out 2 to 4 times a week, you likely don't need more exercise. You need more movement. So with that said, who's committed to adding 500 steps to their daily walking this week? Let me know in the comments below. That's what I'm doing this week. I hope that at least a couple of you guys have taken interest in this and that you're going to take heed, okay? So the last part here that you need to know is that NEAT and NEPA burn 15% of your daily calories. That's 3 times more than exercise burns for calories in the day for your metabolism. Walking is the easiest way to increase your deficit without cutting calories. And 10,000 steps for us, what I've noticed is the sweet spot for fat loss that I've seen for most of my clients. Even more fat loss as they get even higher on steps, okay? Movement is life. It works, it helps. Do it, all right? You can build up to it gradually without overwhelming yourself. Use the good, great, and awesome goal system that I taught you and the 500 step increase. We call that crawl, walk, run, or stair stepping. And we do that on everything that we do in Joyfully Fit. You will hear good, great, awesome goals on everything. And it's so good for the psyche. It protects you from getting close to your goal and feeling defeated because you were just inches from your top tier goal when you slammed your good and great goals, okay? You did awesome on those. What a shame to get so close to your top tier goal and to feel defeated because you didn't have multiple goals for a tiered system, okay? So with that said, this is why most people are not seeing results even when they're working out consistently and eating well. They are too sedentary. So last thing, guys, I'm thinking about putting together a guide on how the whole metabolism works, okay? All 4 parts broken down, how NEAT fits into the bigger picture, how to optimize each piece for fat loss, practical strategies that you can actually use, all right? Now, if I get enough interest in this, enough people comment below, I'll go ahead and make it and I'll send it to every single person who wants it, all right? So if you want that guide, be sure to drop a comment below that says guide or, hey, I want that guide. If enough people want it, I'll go ahead and put it together and get it out to you guys. So it's totally free, just trying to help as many people as possible, okay? So in the meantime, I want you to start adding 500 steps this week, okay? That is your goal. Track it, make it consistent because movement matters so much more than you think, all right? By the way, Joyfully Fit Nutrition is live right now and is absolutely the lowest possible rate. If you want the full system where I calculate your macros, give you weekly adjustments, and walk you through everything step by step, you will absolutely love my Joyfully Fit Nutrition program. You can use the code all caps Joyfully Fit, JOYFULLY 10, and you'll get 10% off on Joyfully Fit Nutrition. It's already at a killer rate as well, and it'll never be this low again. So take that for what you will. All right, that's it, guys. So go ahead and drop a guide in the comments if you want me to make that guide for you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I love it. I love the comments that I'm getting, and I love the questions and some of you guys just saying that you're really stepping it up to steward your health and wellness for the Lord better. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with a friend. We'll see you on the next one.